Last time it was Ford, and Ford was the gentle one. 3 plugs, 20 minutes, done. Toyota is where it gets interesting, because Toyota did something Ford didn't. They saw this coming. They buried the box deeper in the dash, and then they set a trap around it. They ran your front speaker and your hands-free microphone straight through the same module that tracks you. So the second you yank it the crude way, part of your truck goes dead and you know you did something wrong. Most people stop right there and plug it back in, but a handful of owners didn't stop. They found a cheap way to walk right around the trap. Car keeps its speaker, keeps its microphone, and quietly stops phoning home. I've had my hands on it. I'm going to give you the 7 things you need before you touch a Toyota's, and number 1 is a phone call one owner made to Toyota itself, and the answer he got tells you everything. First, what the thing is, because Toyota is every bit as quiet about it as Ford. It's not your infotainment screen. It's not your Bluetooth. It's a separate piece of hardware, about the size of a paperback, with its own cellular antenna and its own embedded SIM, wired in at the factory. Toyota's name for it is the Data Communication Module, the DCM, and it runs the services Toyota sells you as Safety Connect and Connected Services. Its job is to sit on the car's internal network, listen, and report back to Toyota over a cellular link you can't see. 7 things, counting down. Number 7. It's been standard for years, and it was live before you turned the key. Toyota built the DCM into damn near the whole lineup. The RAV4, the Highlander, the Tacoma, the Camry, going back to around 2018. And like Ford's, that module has a cellular heartbeat from the moment the truck leaves the lot. It does not wait for you to sign up for a Safety Connect trial. It does not wait for the app. The hardware is in there, powered, checking in with the network on its own. And that SIM inside it is soldered to the board, an embedded SIM, no little tray to pop the way you would on an old phone. That's deliberate, and it's the whole reason people who want this stopped don't go hunting for a SIM card to pull. There isn't one to pull. You deal with the whole module, or you don't deal with it at all. You were sold a safety feature. What you physically received was an always connected radio bolted into your dash, and a 2025 Consumer Reports investigation put Toyota right there on the list with Ford, Honda, and BMW. Automakers pulling driver behavior data off their connected cars. That's not a forum rumor, that's the reporting. Number 6. Opting out in the app does not make the box stop. Here's where Toyota owners get fooled, same as everybody else. They get uneasy. They dig into the Toyota app. They cancel connected services. They even call and cancel the Safety Connect line. And they assume that closes the cellular link. It does not. Owners have documented this carefully. One security researcher went so far as to physically pull the DCM and its antenna clean out of his 2024 RAV4, because he'd concluded that opting out in the software doesn't actually stop the hardware from transmitting. Canceling the service ends the service. It does not unplug the modem. And that modem doesn't only wake up when you're driving. A telematics box like this keeps a standby connection alive, checking in with the network on its own schedule, ignition off, truck parked in the driveway overnight. The people who study these modules will tell you the off you were given is a setting about how the data gets used, not a switch that cuts the power to the radio. That's the whole reason people stop trusting the menu and start looking behind the dash. The off switch they were handed governs the paperwork, not the hardware. Number 5. With Toyota, there's an insurance angle built right in, and this one's specific to them. We already know from the GM scandal what this data is worth on the open market. In March of 2024, a New York Times investigation caught General Motors collecting detailed driving behavior, hard braking, fast starts, late-night trips, off millions of cars, and selling it through the brokers LexisNexis and Verisk to the insurance business. One Chevy Bolt owner pulled his file and it ran 258 pages, 640 trips in 6 months. He only looked because his premium had jumped 21%. California fined GM $12.75 million, the biggest ever under that state's privacy law, and the Federal Trade Commission barred GM from sharing that data for 5 years. And GM wasn't alone in the trade. A U.S. Senate investigation found Hyundai had handed driving data off 1.7 million cars to Verisk for a little over $1 million, about 61 cents a car. 61 cents a family. Another driver in that same reporting got turned down by 7 insurers in a row before somebody finally admitted his own car had informed on him. But here's the part that lands on Toyota specifically. Toyota's connected driving data runs through a company tied to Toyota's own insurance operation. Sign up for their connected driving program, and it is opt-in. You do have to say yes. And after a stretch of it watching how you drive, they can turn around and use exactly that record to hand you a personalized insurance quote. Think about that arrangement for a second. The same box the factory installed to keep you safe is also positioned to price your insurance based on every move you make. The bypass we're about to talk about ends that conversation before it can start. Number 4. Here's the trap, and it's the whole reason Toyota is different. On a Highlander or a Tacoma, the DCM is not sitting under a trunk panel where you can reach it. It's tucked behind the passenger side of the dash, right up next to the main computer, and getting to it usually means pulling the glove box and a run of trim to even see it. That alone makes it a bigger job than the Ford. You're looking at dropping the glove box, working past the vents and a long run of dash trim, and disconnecting the negative battery terminal first so you're not poking around a live harness behind a screen. This is the point where a lot of folks decide to let a trusted independent shop do the actual pull. But the real catch is what Toyota did on purpose. They routed your front right speaker and your hands-free microphone directly through the DCM. So if you find that module and just unplug it the crude way, the way that worked fine on the Ford, you don't only kill the tracking. You kill your front speaker and you kill your microphone. Your audio goes half dead. And that is not an accident. That is a company making sure the obvious move costs you something you use every day, so you'll leave the box alone. Number 3. Owners beat the trap for about $90, or for the price of a little wire if they're handy. The Toyota community did something the factory clearly never planned for. They use a bypass harness, a small bundle of connectors. A ready-made one for your specific model runs right around $90, though the truly handy just jump a couple of speaker pins themselves for the cost of a bit of wire and skip the part entirely. Here's how it works. You unplug the factory DCM, and instead of leaving those connectors hanging empty, you plug the harness in where the module was. There are versions cut for specific models: the Tacoma, the Tundra, the RAV4, the Highlander. So owners match the harness to their truck and it drops right into the factory plugs. The harness passes your speaker and your microphone straight through, so your audio comes right back to life. But it does not restore the cellular link because the module itself is gone. In plain terms, the car goes on believing the DCM is still sitting there doing its job while the actual tracking hardware is out of the vehicle and out of range for good. Speaker works. Microphone works. The car just quietly stops reporting. Toyota made the module hard to pull and booby-trapped it on the way out, and owners answered with a cheap workaround that makes the whole trap pointless. Number 2. Now the honest cost, and this time it's steeper than the Ford, so I'm going to be straight with you. On the Ford, I told you the good news. The automatic crash call ran off your phone, so pulling the box didn't cost you that. Toyota is different, and you need to hear it clearly. Toyota's Safety Connect, the feature that automatically calls for help in a serious wreck, runs through this DCM's cellular connection, not through your phone. So on a Toyota, when the module comes out, that automatic crash call goes with it. That's real, and for some people that's the end of the conversation, and I won't argue with them. The bypass harness brings your speaker and mic back. It does not bring Safety Connect back because there's no modem left to make the call. You also lose the Toyota app, remote start, remote lock and unlock, vehicle status, and you lose stolen vehicle locating and the connected traffic on the built-in nav. What still works? Your key fob remote start, your radio, your backup camera, your sensors, all the local stuff, plus, with the harness, your speaker and microphone. So the trade here is sharper than Ford's. It's not app convenience versus privacy. It's automatic crash help versus a permanent record of every mile. That is a real decision, and it is yours, not the dealer's. Number 1. Toyota will not help you shut it off, and one owner has the phone call to prove it. Across the board, Toyota owners run into the same wall Ford owners do. One Highlander owner did the reasonable thing. He called Toyota directly, the brand engagement center, and asked in plain English how to permanently disable the data module in the truck he owned. They did not walk him through it. They sent him to the dealer. And the dealer sent him nowhere. Not can't, won't. And that refusal answers the question this whole countdown has been circling. If that module existed only to keep you safe and make your life easier, they'd gladly show you the switch, the way they'll show you how to silence the seatbelt chime or turn off the lane keep nudge. But the one piece of equipment in the vehicle they will not help you control is the one that watches you. That's the tell. A feature you're allowed to refuse is a feature. A feature you're not allowed to refuse is something else wearing the word. Step back from the glove box and the trim clips, and the story rhymes with the Ford, only Toyota fought harder to keep it in. For 100 years, a Toyota was an object you owned outright. It sat in your driveway and answered to you, and where you drove it was your own business. The DCM changed that quietly. The truck still runs like a Toyota, but now it also works as a witness, logging how you drive, holding a cellular line open to a company positioned to sell you insurance off what it sees. The owners pulling this module aren't paranoid. They give up the automatic crash call. They spend an afternoon behind the dash. But they've decided the same thing the Ford crowd decided, that a machine parked in their own driveway ought to answer to them and nobody else. I'm Hank. About 40 years turning wrenches, the last stretch of it on a dealer floor, and I'll tell you, on that floor, this box was the one thing nobody was ever coached to bring up. No manufacturer pays me, no dealer, no insurance company, and not one of them is glad I just walked you through that. So tell me down in the comments, is the automatic crash call worth keeping the box, or are you running the bypass harness? And name your year and model when you do, because the next Toyota owner reading wants to know whether yours is one of the ones the harness fits. And next time I'm doing the hardest one of the three, RAM, where you can't just unplug it, where the truck fights back with error codes and a security gate, and what owners had to do to shut it up for good. Stick around for yours. Watch out for each other.